Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that somebody gets a little excited about the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. So when rumors started to swirl about Activision possibly making a remake of Tony Hawk 1 and 2, we knew we had to shoot an episode. What are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking That's My Jam by Laketime Brewery. It's a berry ale.
Alright, you know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss an upload. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's talk about the possibility of a Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake.
Hi, this is Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, and you're watching Gaming Off the Grid.
Alright, here we go. A remake, possibly in the works for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Now this episode is going to be kind of just churning in the rumor mill, based on some hypotheticals, but what do you think of the news of a remake of Tony Hawk 1 and 2? Because you freaking love that series.
It's awesome, it's super exciting, but I'm also a little hesitant because back in the day, the Tony Hawk games, they captured the moment in time. It was like the punk scene, the skater scene, the music was on fire, and if they brought it back, first off, licensing, that's a huge issue, and would it still have the appeal that it did back then? I don't know, but I'm still excited, and it's all just rumors. We don't know if it's actually going to happen. There was a leak on Twitter. This guy named Sabi put this tweet out. Apparently he knows people that work for Activision, and he said that they're working on a prototype / remake, and they don't know if that's for an actual remake or if it's just for a test project they're doing. But if they're doing something, then that's obviously they're doing something for Tony Hawk, you know?
Yeah, and usually, you know, a lot of times when something like this comes out, where there's smoke, there is some sort of fire.
Yeah,
whether that be a new Tony Hawk game, a remake, so on and so forth. But I don't think you can put a remake past Activision at this point because Spyro the Dragon did very, very well. The trilogy came out beautiful, and right now, in the almost 2020 time frame in the landscape, video game industry is kind of going the way of Hollywood. It's remakes galore.
Yes, it is, and a lot of the remakes nowadays are incredible. The Spyro one, Resident Evil 2, the Crash trilogy, and obviously these ones aren't out yet, like the Panzer Dragoon and the House of the Dead 1 and 2 remakes, but I have a feeling those are going to be awesome as well. And I don't know, this could be another fantastic remake from Activision.
And I think that there is almost more at risk here for Activision than making a new game. Now I get it. Here lately, the Tony Hawk series, it's been shit in the bed.
The new Tony Hawk games suck. And it's just
been dumpster fire after dumpster fire. So for them to want to circle back and kind of reestablish the brand and the brand dominance with remakes, that kind of makes sense. But I think if you remake those games and you don't nail them from a controlling and execution standpoint, because those games still to this day,
they're so tight.
They hold up so well and they play flawlessly. Then you brought up licensing. So if you take licensed soundtracks and bring them into the mix of the discussion of best video game soundtracks of all time, most people who played a Tony Hawk game are going to put Tony Hawk 1, 2, 3, or 4 in their favorite video game soundtracks ever.
I discovered so many new songs and artists from Tony Hawk back in the day, all these awesome punk, skater songs that I still listen to today. Would they use those old songs, or would they get a new playlist? Would they play like the new alternative rock, the new rap scene, which if they do, I don't know if I would like it. And also, licensing, brands, skaters, can they get all that? Or are they going to do the old stuff? Because some of those brands might not be in business anymore, or they might not be in good cahoots with them. And like the skaters, like what if, I know Tony Hawk no longer works with Activision, so like obviously they have his name and they can use his name, but can they get his rights to use him as a skater? Or like my favorite, Bam Margera, if he's not in the game, see you later.
I was a Bucky Lasset guy myself, but nonetheless, I think all this stuff makes a vicious cocktail of questions that I think it makes it very difficult for this to be a project that Activision actually chooses to move forward with. But you look at it like, okay, if this game comes out as a remake, but it still has that timestamp of the late 90s, right? Mid to late 90s. You know, does it have the appeal to the newer audiences? Or is the way to appeal to a new audience putting new songs, new brands? And if you do that, why don't you just make a new Tony Hawk game,
Well,
right?
we know how that has gone.
Yeah.
I know in 2012 they did make a Tony Hawk 1 remake, and that did terrible.
And it was just like an HD buffer, pretty much.
Yeah, and
really.
it did not do well. And I know, like, they released, like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, they released a mobile version. They all suck. So, I'm excited. I'm glad that it's in the discussion, because I love that series, and I love 1 through 4. 3 is my favorite, but I'm nervous at the same time.
I just think it's a real possibility. You hear these rumors, you've seen Activision have success with remakes, with the Spyro trilogy, and you just wonder who's going to come on board for this project. Can they execute it in its original form? Do they adapt it to the modern era? The questions are endless, but it's a fun hypothetical thing to talk about. And when we're in the era of remakes in the video game industry, anything is freaking possible.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of anything being possible, we typically don't like people putting fruit in our damn beer.
As far as I'm concerned, that's a slap in the face.
But
Lake
that's
Time.
my jam.
Yes, by Lake Time Brewery. This is a berry ale, and it's really good. It kind of has like a milkshake IPA vibe. I know it's not an IPA, but it's like thick and kind of creamy. There's particles. It's super thick looking.
It is a thick brew.
You can taste multiple different berries in this, like strawberries, blackberries,
Assberries.
This is a really good summer berry beer.
Yeah.
I know it's not summer, it's winter, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a very good brew. I was skeptical because, again, I'm not a big fan of having fruit in my beer. But when we poured it and I seen the thickness of it and then the particles floating around, it's like, okay, we maybe have a very unfiltered, rich experience coming down the pipe. And it really is a good brew. If you're a person who says, hey, I don't like fruit beers, you might be missing out if you don't try one that is up to this caliber. And this is from Clear Lake, Iowa. So a very small brewery.
Very small, but it's from Iowa. We gotta represent.
Representing. So, anyways, anything else you want to say about this potential news of a Tony Hawk remake? I know you're excited, but you're also trepidatious.
Yes, I'm excited and nervous. And I kind of just want to go back and play the old ones. I want to go back and listen to the soundtracks. Everything about these games are fantastic. And Activision, if you are working on it, I know it's rumors, but if you are working on it, please do it right, please do it correct, and please don't add a new soundtrack. Maybe add new songs from back in the day, or go up the old songs, I don't know. But just don't lose the time of these games, because they're awesome.
It's weird to say, but I agree with you, and these games for me, and I think for you as well, and other Tony Hawk fans, they are a time capsule of that era. From a cultural and arts perspective, it really hones in on that time frame, and I feel like it kind of holds that time forever in history, kind of like sports games do in a way, which is weird to say, but like NFL Blitz, NBA Jam, those rosters, that is what it was like back then.
Tecmo Bowl, Bo Jackson.
Yeah, and that's how these games do it, with the skaters, the dress, the brands, the music, etc. So Activision, if you're gonna do it, don't shit the bed. All right, guys, in the comment section below, let us know, what is your favorite Tony Hawk Pro Skater game of all time? We won't judge, because we love them all. And also tell us, what do you think of the news and the rumors of Activision attempting to remake Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2? Is it too tall of an order, or should they give it their best try? And we always appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the channel. Keep gaming, keep drinking. We'll see you next time, right here on Gaming Off the Grid. 1 being IPAs, and 2 being Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Boing.
And
let's just say somebody got a little bit horny. What were we drinking today?
My hips don't lie. Today we're drinking Lake Time. That's the name of the brewery. That's my jam. I forgot. I was so focused on not the beer that I forgot to look at the beer.
Ready? I heard that.
I feel like Tony Hawk, dude.
I heard it, dude. I didn't see it because I wasn't looking at the TV.
But you heard it.
But guess what? Everything's gonna change now.